The musician saw himself in those frightened eyes. He stroked the boy's head with his hand and asked, "What's your name, kid? Don't be afraid, you're safe with me, the dog is gone." When the child smiled at him, flowers of love bloomed on his face. "Ames, Ames," he whispered in a shaky voice. Aiden looked at him affectionately and, with a handkerchief from his pocket, wiped the little man's dirty face, took the bone from his hand and threw it into the darkness. "My name is Aiden, come on, let's fill your stomach." The boy was about 4 or 5 years old and was rather thin. Judging by the wounds on his body, he was sick with hunger and filth. It was impossible for him to live that long, as the savage gray dwarfs who were brought by the king from a distant island would find and eat him. Ames looked around like a wild cat, then let his tiny hand take the man's warm palm and stood up. As they were leaving through the rubble, Aiden heard the sound of his own footstep and got alerted by it. It wasn't the rough sound of pressing an ordinary rubble. He bent down and realized that he had stepped on something that looked like a book. He picked it up off the ground, and they walked a little. As they approached a torch, Aiden realized it was a diary, not a book. Judging by the name on the first page of the diary, the man who wrote it was Lucen. He asked the boy, "Was this your house, Ames? Did your family live here?" Ames stared at him blankly. "I grew up in the ruins of this house, I don't remember my family." As the two of them walked towards Marlet, Aiden was certain that the boy's family had been murdered. This poor stray cat had survived and had grown up in the rubble. He put the diary in his bag, which he would read later when he had time to learn about the boy's past. Miss Marlet felt herself being pulled by her skirt as she hurried to catch up, and she turned to see Tom, the 10-year-old waiter. The boy had a tense expression on his face, and it was clear that he had seen something uncanny and was trying to report it. He pointed a finger at Marlet. The man he showed was a burly warrior, with a white bearskin on his back, and his weapon was a giant sword. The man had placed his weapon right next to the table where he was sitting in the corner, and a white wolf was sleeping next to that weapon.